Hey everybody, Scoutcrafty here again. It's Friday, TGIF. You made it through another week. Hope you're having a great week. I have a bunch of things to do this week, so I won't be able to spend the amount of time I would like to on this project, but it might be a two-part video. I don't like to do two-part videos, so normally I like to do everything in one shot, but this one warrants a lot of work, and I want to show you some of the details. I feel like doing an auto wrench. We haven't done one of them in a while, and this one here is a mess of all messes. So what do you say we get started and see how far we get and what we can do? So let's get to it. You know, when I first started this channel, I was taking a lot of tools that were just everyday junk tools and trying to make them nice, and that was kind of the fun of it, you know. Not restoring really nice tools, vintage, expensive tools, because you know, a lot of people are on the fence about whether to restore them, but nobody can argue when you take it. This is one of the worst type tools, but I like them. I always like the F wrenches, the auto wrench, but they're junk. The steel was junk. The design was junk. And nobody ever uses them. I mean, because the steel is so weak, and there were some that were worse than others, this was amongst the worst model here. This, because they have the extended jaw, with the weak steel, it was just nothing but problems. You could see here, you know, they were just horrible. Nobody ever says, boy, I really like using these things. They're just kind of weird. However, that being said, I've made some really beautiful pieces out of these, and I thought we would take this one here. You can see it's even got a bend to it because they bent everywhere. It was like, I don't know what kind of steel this was. It was just a low carbon steel. You know, they were always banged on, and an emergency wrench, this really would give you a hard time. So let's see if we can't make this into something where you would say, hey, I like that. Let's do it. Usually the worst part of these wrenches is getting these pins out. Now, if it's a screw type pin, if you see a slot there, that's much better. This one here is peened over. You can see that little peening on one side, and it does spin, so that's okay, but I don't even mess with these anymore. Just, why waste all that time? Just take a saw, thin kerf saw, cut down the side there, pull the pin out, and then you could always put a washer in there as a spacer to make up for the kerf you made with the saw, but that's what we're going to do. Look at this. Look at that jaw, huh? Is that a thing of beauty? That is something. Let's do it. The funny thing is, the pin is the strongest part of this wrench. Okay, the pin is out. You could see here, it's still a tight fit in there, you know. But we use the grinding, the flap wheel, take that right out, cut the pin top and bottom, falls right out. It's so much easier. Now we're going to clean this up a little bit. It's got a little bit of a bend, just a slight bend to it. Maybe the dake, we'll see. This is one of the main reasons why you would avoid a wrench like this. You can see here, that's, you know, it's got that bend. Now, you say, what's bent? The bottom, the top. So then what you have to do is you have to find out where it's bent. So first we'll look at the bottom here, and we could see here, it's bent. You see that? You see the light behind it? It's bent in the front going down, okay? And then we'll look at this one here, and you can see here, this is bent going up. You can see, so it's got dual bends, and getting this to bend down is a little bit harder than to. So we're going to shorten the jaws because this is a bad design for this weak steel. We're going to shorten the jaws. We're going to cut them off, but we also have to straighten it out. So let's Everybody's favorite, the dake. Let's check out the setup. We have a bend. You can see here, you can see there's a bend down here going to the right. You see that? If you look straight, that's an easy bend. We'll take that out. We'll put it between two blocks and stress that and press that out real quick. Now, just to demonstrate how soft this steel is, I have it between 3 blocks of wood. Now, the wood should crush before the wrench does, but look, we can bend the wrench before before you're even making any cracks in the wood. But you can see we already have a good bend in that wrench, you know, back, and then we'll bring it back up here, release it, and take a look. But you see how this was traditionally very weak steel. We'll take a look again down here to make sure. And how much we have to go. We have to go a little bit more. You can see that bend right about there. Here we go. We went a little bit further. Okay. Same thing. And you tweak it back and forth until you get that. You don't want to go past it. It's very easy to, but we're pretty straight there, right? Okay, I'm going to call that pretty straight, good enough for government work. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and bring this piece down. Now to get this to come down, I'm going to put this in Great Grandpa's vise, just like this, okay? And get a lot of meat in here, a lot of the wrench, and make sure it's tight, okay? You want it to be really tight. You don't want this moving. And then we're going to take a persuader, which is my 18-inch crescent monster. We did this on a video here. And what we're going to do is we're going to place this so one corner goes into the bottom of the jaw, opening it up enough, okay, just like that. You see that one corner goes in the bottom of the jaw, this one rests flat on top. Can you see that there? And then we're going to pull it back this way using some force. Again, got to make sure it's tight in the vise, and pull this down and see if we can get some movement that way. Okay, you can see we bent the tip down doing that, and you can see here, I'll show you with the square, we can see we have it almost level. That's beautiful, huh? It's almost perfect. Now what we want to do, obviously, we have to raise the bottom jaw up, but because we have so much meat here, we can straighten that out. We're going to cut the tip. We're going to reprofile the tip. We can also take a little bit off the back, so that won't be a problem. It's got to meet up, so let's do that. The next few operations are really enjoyable, starting off with trimming off this excessive nose. What a fun job this is. And with this cutoff wheel, it cuts through this like butter. Now you can see here the back of the bottom jaw is where we're going to have to take that off and level it out. And to do that, we're going to use the belt sander. The belt sander makes easy work of this, but you just got to make sure you don't build up too much heat because you don't want to retemper that jaw, even as soft as it is. Here you see we're getting close to a perfect fit. And now you see here it looks a little blocky up front. We're going to trim the edges down, again using the belt sander real quick. And we'll take that. Now you can see it looks more factory made. It's just a nice proportions. Now for the pin, I use a bolt, and this is a 5/16 by 18 threads per inch bolt, and I find that works really well because it kind of fits into the hole that's there. That existing hole is just a very close to a F drill. That's what this is, a letter F drill, which is what you would use as a drill for the tap size 5/16 by 18. So we drill through here, and then of course one of the most enjoyable operations anywhere is hand tapping. Hand tapping is such a fun and enjoyable operation, especially if you have the right tools and soft steel like this. It just makes it so much enjoyable. And the best part here is when you get through and then you spin it down and spin it back up just to clear those threads. It's just a joy. Next, we will cut the bolt down to approximate size, and then when we put it in the lathe, now because we're putting it in the lathe, holding it by the threads, we can't really tighten down too much. We got a little excess of overhang. You got to take very light cuts, but that's okay. Couple cuts, get that down to size, just where the thumb wheel fits over it nice with a snug and not loose fit. And then here, this part here is funny because it's the easiest looking job ever to put a slot to make a screw head, out of a bolt. But it is so difficult to get that perfectly centered. I'll tell you, if you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. You have to do a couple back cuts and really keep checking your work over and over to get that perfect. And then when it is, it looks so nice. Now here's our finished pin. You can see how we made that. And first you have to make sure that this spins easy with no excessive play, which it does. It's a beautiful fit. And then we press this in here, screw this in, and you'll see it screws in here. I have to use, because this kerf from that saw is a little bit thin, I have a special screwdriver here that I use to push this in, but we'll squeeze that in. And the main thing is, when you tighten this down, this has almost like a press fit at the end, but look at that. Absolutely beautiful. It's very satisfying to do that. And that pin is a much easier one if you ever had to service the wrench. Now we could take this apart and clean it up with the flap sander. Okay, so this is about all we're going to finish for part one. Now, let me show you what we did here. First of all, let's look how those jaws match up. You can't even see light through it. So that's pretty good, right? And we will finish, you know, making this more attractive. But it's so far, this is just with the flap sander and rough grinding and everything. So we have this. It works. Look at that. It works beautiful. We're just going to have to put a little washer under the bottom here to get rid of this. You see that little bit of play? That washer will fit right there. And that will take care of that. Everything else is nice. It's a solid wrench now, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to do this. We have no holes here. I mean, no lettering, no writing, no name. So that means I think we're going to put some holes in there. Make this an over-the-top wrench. See what we can do. Okay, it's the next day. It was a busy day. It's late at night, but I had a busy day right from the morning. I had to go upstate. The grass was quite high, but it was a nice day, good temperatures, and had to check on Stanley, shy little Stanley. He's doing great. Looks like he was wearing a leaf as a hat. Can you see that? He won't let you get close, that's for sure. And then obviously came home. Now, I had to go for my poor man flea market walk tonight. Just came back and I saw this in the garbage. Now, here's a quiz for you. It's the end of August. This is thrown out. Does it work or doesn't it work? If you've been paying attention, you'll know. But I let that go because the smell of kerosene indoors just was never... I was never fond of it, so I don't burn any liquid fuel indoors. I just don't like the smell indoors. And that's it. Now we're just going to edit this. And, oh, yeah, caught the possum, you know, tonight on the porch again. Little guy was just eating away. I was ready to leave, and I had to wait because I didn't want to disturb him. Had to let him finish eating. So he's out there, or she. We'll see in a little while. And that's it. It was a good day. So hope you enjoyed the video. Had a lot of fun with this wrench, and we'll finish it on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.